Hello, gorgeous soul, and welcome to your February All Signs Tarot and Oracle card reading. I am super excited about pulling some cards for you today, but before we begin, I would like to tell you a little bit about what is happening over in New Age Hipster World. There are two super fun things happening this month. I am about to start offering limited edition readings, which I'm so excited about. These readings are going to be exactly what it says on the tin. I'm going to pick a topic, a type of reading, and I'm going to offer a certain amount of those readings, and once they're gone, they're gone. So I'm not going to tell you yet what the limited edition reading is. I'm going to be sharing that in my newsletter and over on social media. So follow me there if you would like to find out about that. The other exciting thing I'm going to start doing in my newsletter, it's a special hot offer for each month. So every month I'm going to be offering a really generous discount code for one of my courses or offerings, and I will only be sharing that in the newsletter. So get yourself on the newsletter via the links below and we can connect over there. Okay, so let's begin with our reading for this month. Just like we did last month, I'm going to be pulling cards, two cards, one oracle, one tarot for each of the signs. You are very welcome to just watch your sun sign if you feel called to do that. You can also watch your sun sign, moon sign, and rising sign if you know what your big three are. You can also use this reading as kind of an intuitive process for yourself, and you can have a little look at the signs in the list and you can just kind of pick whichever one you feel drawn to. You can use this reading in that way as well. So for our reading, I'm so excited. This is my other really big news. I'm going to be using the Galactic Guides Oracle. This is the new deck that I have created with Ellie Grant, and it's coming out this month in Australia and the UK, and I think next month in the US. So you can either grab this right now or you can pre-order it. I hope you like it. I'm really excited about it, and the box is just like everything. So I'm going to be using that for our readings today, along with the Star Child Tarot, because I thought, hey, why don't we just make it super galactic, super like star seedy, super fun. Okay, please join me if you can, if you're somewhere where it's safe for you to do this. Please join me in closing your eyes, otherwise just center your energy. You may like to put a hand on your heart. And let's take a deep inhale together. Inhale and exhale. And I invite you to just take a moment to think about whatever is on your heart or your mind, whatever it is that you need some guidance on. Maybe it's just a general reading. Maybe there is something specific in your life that is causing you some stress or anxiety, tension that you'd like some guidance on, and you can place that into this space as your intention. And I set the intention that everything that comes through in this reading is in alignment with the best and highest good of all, and so it is. So with these readings, obviously, they're not specifically created personally for you, but that doesn't mean that you can't still get some really powerful insights from these kinds of readings. But setting an intention before you begin, knowing what your question is and what your issue is, can really help you to watch this reading and know, okay, I think that's for me. I'm not sure that that is for me. So it can be just a really nice way to make sure that you get what you need from this experience. Okay, we are ready to begin. This month we are going to start backwards. We're going to start with Pisces and work our way to Aries. So, hey there, Pisces. I'm going to pull you your tarot card and your oracle. So your tarot is the Five of Cups, and your oracle is Leo, big-heartedness, fierceness, and boldness. So there's a real feeling here with that Five of Cups that something maybe hasn't worked out in the way that you wanted it to, the way that you visualized that it was going to happen. Sometimes this happens when we do manifesting, or we do spell work, or setting goals, you know, however you kind of do that work for yourself. Sometimes we have these really big dreams, we have these visions, we do everything right. And this has happened to me plenty of times. We do everything right, and it still doesn't kind of happen in the way that we want it to. I feel like your guides are very much telling you that this is not the end. If something hasn't worked out for you, it doesn't mean that it's never going to work out. They're saying some things just take time. And that can be really difficult to accept, especially when we see other people maybe achieving these goals or having these successes or manifesting these things, and it appears like it's happening very, very quickly. But they want to remind us that everybody has a totally different timeline. Everybody has a totally different energy frequency. And what you need to learn right now is how to deal when things don't go in your favor, when things don't turn out exactly as you wanted them. Being someone that's able to be in that space and still show up with this like bright, radiant Leo energy, if things are not turning out for you in the way that you planned, but you're still showing up for your life, you're still showing up for your friends, you're still showing up for your dreams, then you're winning. Like, you're a successful person. That's what success is. That's what successful people do. They have knockbacks. Things don't always work out for them, but they keep going and they keep shining bright. And that is like the really big message I'm getting for you this month, to please keep going and to keep shining bright. If you are tired, if you feel like you have been shining bright a lot and you don't feel like you have a lot more to give, you feel like you're on the verge of a burnout kind of situation, or you just don't really know how to keep pushing towards your goals, your dreams, because things haven't been working out, take a step back, take some time for yourself, go back to focusing on like your own self-care and your own self-love journey. Because so often we are putting so much energy like out, we are hustling, we're projecting, we're asking for things, we are trying to make things happen, that we forget to like do the inner work as well. And I'm not saying that you're not doing the inner work as well, but I feel like your guides are kind of giving you this this suggestion of like, instead of look at all the things that haven't worked out. And sometimes when we do that, we get into blame, we get into self-blame, we get into self-doubt, like all of that stuff that is only going to stop us from really doing anything moving forward. Instead of going to that place, they want you to come back to your heart, and they want you to remember that, you know, sometimes things don't work out and it's okay. Sometimes things just don't work out, and you can feel your feelings about that. You can sit and you can mope for a little while, and you can have that human experience of feeling super, super bummed out. But don't stay there. Don't get stuck there. You have so much light to offer the world. This Leo energy, it is so bright. It is so, it's such a like a light worker energy, you know, like you're here to really shine bright, to inspire people, to make a really positive difference in the world. So feel your feelings, move through that stuff that's kind of coming up for you of like, why didn't this work out? Why didn't that work out? Have your moment of feeling sorry for yourself, but then look in the mirror and remember, and this is such a cheesy line, and it comes from, like, it was in a Doreen Virtue deck like years and years ago. You are a powerful light worker. You may or may not resonate with the term light worker, but you are a powerful light in the world. You're here to really illuminate in such a big, big way. So take the time that you need to look after yourself so that you can shine and you can inspire the entire world, because your journey is not over. When things don't work out, so often, I know this is like so cliche and corny as well, but so often, you know, something doesn't work out for us because there's a different path that's better. And I know you've probably heard that before. And I know you're probably like, this again, like so cheesy, so corny, but it's so often really, really true. Or it may be that there's actually just like a really big lesson that you need to learn before you can manifest the thing, or before it can kind of happen for you. So stay on your path, stay shining bright, and don't give up. Just take a break, take a rest, but don't give up on your dreams. Like, there's so much more for you. There's so much more for you out there than you haven't even dreamt about yet. Okay, gorgeous soul. I really hope that this resonated. I'd love to hear from you in the comments how things are going. I hope that you have a really, really beautiful month. If you'd like to work together this month and get a personal reading, all of the links are below on how you can do that. Sending you lots of love. Okay, Aquarius, let's see what is in the cards for you. Okay, so you had 2 that flew out. And because it was 2, I'm going to put those back in. Sometimes it is tricky to know when cards fly out if it's because they want to be seen or because you're just not very good at shuffling. That's when you need to use your intuition and decide which is true. Okay. So we have your tarot is the 5 of Swords. And your oracle is Sirius, knowledge, training, wisdom keeping, and wisdom teaching. So that's really interesting that you've got the Sirius card along with the 5 of Swords, because these are both very much about the mental body. Very much about what's going on with your thoughts. So that's where we're going to start with the reading today, especially with the 5 of Swords. The 5 of Swords, swords represent air, they represent the mental body, the mindset, all of that kind of stuff. And 5s are kind of a challenging number. 5s can be a little bit challenging. It's the number of change. So there's a lot of things that kind of may be coming up for you at the moment in terms of changes that you want to make to your mindset. Thoughts, old beliefs, old ways of thinking that just don't really serve you anymore, that are ready to be released and ready to let go of. One thing that they're saying is, in this process of letting go of the old thoughts and beliefs and stories that no longer serve, which we do a lot in this work. We're always talking about release your old thoughts, let go of that, clear this, blah, blah, blah. All of that stuff is fantastic. And there's so many different ways you can do all of that. So many different practices, rituals, meditations that will support you with that. But there is also this part around bringing in something else to replace what has been cleared. And this is really good advice for anything that you are clearing. I've done this before where I've cleared and cleared and cleared and cleared, but I haven't brought any energy down. I haven't brought anything else in to replace it. And so the old stuff just kind of comes back because there's space. You can think of yourself as like a jug, and you're pouring out and getting rid of all this old stuff, but then you're just sitting there like this empty vessel. And if you don't make a conscious choice of like what you want to be filled with, then any old stuff can come back in and fill you. Like you can just end up just taking water again from the same place. You empty out and you just pour it all back in. So what you really want to be doing when you're clearing mindset, when you're shifting your mindset, is you don't just clear the thoughts and beliefs that aren't working for you, but you bring in new ones. And I talk about this in my book, Manifest Your Dreams, about limiting beliefs. And we have all these limiting beliefs. We all do. We all have a ton of them. But when you find one, when you locate one, what you can do is you can rewrite it into a limitless belief. So if you have a limiting belief around something really cliche, like I'm not worthy to receive money, it's a big one that a lot of people have, you just change it to I am worthy of receiving money. And then you start telling yourself that the positive version of that thought, rather than I'm burning and clearing away all of these old negative thoughts that don't serve me, but I'm not actually replacing them with anything. So that's a really good practice to do anytime, whenever you feel like you have a negative thought coming up that's kind of blocking and preventing you from doing what you really want to do. And that's not to say like all negative, we have to get rid of all our negative thoughts. Like I'm not here to preach that kind of stuff. Like I feel like we're all human. We're all having like so many negative thoughts all of the time. The idea isn't that we become these perfect beings that like never have a negative thought cross our minds. But when you have a thought that is very clear and very ingrained and very loud in your head that's telling you you can't do something, or you shouldn't do something, or you're not allowed to do something, or that's for other people, not for me, and it's really stopping you living your best life, like those are the thoughts that we want to shift and change. So your homework, first of all, is to identify at least one limiting thought that or belief that you have that you're carrying at the moment, that you feel like if I could change that thought, if I could think about that in a different way, that would really shift things for me. Like if I believed that I could be successful, that could really shift things for me, you know? So it's like, okay, then you work with that, and you can just work with one. You don't have to change like every single belief or thought that's not working for you right now. You just pick like the main one that you feel keeps kind of coming up and keeps kind of going round. So then you have Sirius, knowledge training, wisdom keeping, wisdom teaching. So I feel like the Sirius energy is kind of reminding you that you do have, like you're an Aquarius, you're an air sign, right? Unless you pick this intuitively, but then that's for a reason as well. You've got a really amazing capacity for ideas, for to be the visionary, to have these amazing ideas and to put them into form. And sometimes what happens with people who are very like mental and idea focused is we have all of these ideas, but sometimes they don't like move through our body and out into the world. Sometimes they kind of get stuck in the mental body and they don't actually manifest. Like we can't manifest it, we can't make it happen because it's not fully embodied. So when you get your limitless belief and you get your affirmation, and a lot of people think affirmations are really corny and cheesy, I used to as well, until I started doing them and I was like, wow, these work really well. When you get that and you start to shift and change your belief, then that's going to have like a really powerful effect on your ability to manifest, on your ability to manifest things. And when I'm talking about manifesting, it's not just like, oh, I thought about this and then it happened. Manifesting is so much more than that. Manifesting is like, well, I thought about this and I decided I wanted it. And yes, I visualized, and yes, I did energy work, and yes, I worked on my mindset, but I also took real world action to make it happen. Sirius also reminds you to take that real world action. If you want to change something in your life, you need to take real world action, whether that is starting a project that you've had this idea for a really, really long time, or whether that is going back to school, retraining, taking a course, learning something different. The Sirius card reminds you that you're here not just to learn, but also to teach, but you can't teach until you've learned. You've got to learn first and then you can teach. But of course, we've all learned so much already in this lifetime that we have plenty that we can already be teaching and sharing with others. But yeah, it feels like it's a really powerful time for you right now to really just focus on yourself, like really focus on yourself, your thoughts, get your thoughts clear, get your thoughts aligned, and everything else is going to kind of fall into place. So yeah, I really hope that resonates. Please let me know in the comments if it did. I would love to hear from you. If you would like to work with me one-on-one this month, all of the links are below on how you can do that as well. And I'm sending you lots and lots of love. Okay, my beautiful Capricorns, let's see what is up. So I have your tarot card and your oracle. And your tarot, this is exciting, awakening. I'm loving that for you. And your oracle is Jupiter, expansion, luck, wisdom, and teaching. What an absolutely incredible combo of cards and energy. Expansion and awakening. Wow, okay. Where do we begin with that? Because in a way I just kind of feel like what's left to say? Okay, let's start tuning in. Let's see. Okay, so the first thing is, if you have been feeling a little bit unsure about things lately, or if you've been going through a really kind of difficult or confusing time, sometimes that can be part of what happens when we're going through an awakening. And I feel like it's really important to mention here too, you hear a lot of stuff, I've talked about this many times, but you hear a lot of stuff in the spiritual community about how you have this like one awakening, like you have your spiritual awakening and then you just go on the path. But the truth is about the spiritual awakening is that the spiritual awakening is constant. It doesn't stop. Like the first, like the spiritual awakening that we have, you know, when we have this moment of like, I want to experience spiritual stuff. Suddenly you're like interested in spiritual stuff. You start seeing angel numbers. You start just like seeing signs and messages, and it all feels so magical and mystical. That's not the first moment that you've been on the spiritual path, right? You've been on the spiritual path your whole life. You've been on the spiritual path for lifetimes. But the spiritual awakening is just this kind of moment where you become much more conscious and aware of the fact that you're on the spiritual journey. And then once you get onto that path where you're conscious and aware and awake that this is what's happening, then the whole thing is basically just one more awakening after another. There is a peeling back that happens that's just like you see everything differently, and in every day, every moment, you start to see something else. You see something else that you weren't aware of the day before, and it's incredible. It's an amazing journey to be on. But having said that, it's not always like the easiest journey to be on, because not everybody's on this journey, and not everybody. You know, like sometimes I go out for a walk and I'm just like blown away by the beauty of nature and the fact that the earth even exists and that we're even here, you know, and I'm having this kind of like far out experience just going for a walk, you know, that's just like, how can this even, like, you know, this is just like so amazing. And I'm just, you know, going to my own space with that. And then, you know, you see other people like walking their dogs and they're like, they're not having that same experience. That's not to say they don't have those experiences at other times, but it can feel like you are the only one who sees the world the way that you do. But that is not true. There are so many other people on the path with you. There are so many other people who are awakening, who are starting to see the world in different ways, who are seeing through all of the illusions. So reach out to those people if you need support and guidance at this time. Like if your awakening experience is getting a little bit like, what is happening? That's always a good time to reach out for support. But this Jupiter energy and this expansion energy is so powerful, and it feels like as much as there may be, and maybe for you there's not, maybe for you this just feels like a really amazing time, in which case great. But this expansive Jupiter energy, what I'm hearing for you from the guides is please don't waste this opportunity. It feels like you've got this Jupiter expansion energy with you right now, and they're saying this is going to last for like definitely this month, maybe a couple of months, maybe even like the whole year, but please don't waste it. And what they mean by that is like, do something good with it. You know, like do something good with it. Like do some manifesting. Think about what you want. Think about, you know, what kind of person you want to become, like what you want to change and shift within yourself and within your life, and use this Jupiter energy to begin to make the changes that you want to see in your life. Because you have, it just feels like you're kind of in this portal. You're kind of in this beautiful portal of kind of like doors opening. I'm seeing like lots and lots of doors opening for you. So what you want to do when you're in an energy like that is you want to be really open and receptive to whatever kind of opportunities are coming, whatever is available to you. Obviously you want to always use your discernment and your intuition when, you know, you've got a whole bunch of open doors, like which one do you want to go through? You want to pause and have a think about that. But it just feels like don't just, when you've got all these open doors and these opportunities and things feel really, really expansive, you've got this luck energy kind of with you, you have two choices. You can either kind of like drop in to that stream of energy and go, okay, yeah, cool. I'm going to ride this wave of awakening, expansion, luck energy and see where it takes me. Or you can like ignore this reading completely and just go back to your life. It's almost like you have this moment of like, are you going to take the red pill or the blue pill? Like you've had the awakening, you've seen that things are not how you thought they were. Are you going to go further down this path? Or are you going to be like, actually, no, I'm cool. And there's not really like a wrong choice to make. It's not like, oh, I can't believe you didn't take the blue pill. It's like, you do whatever is right for you and you do whatever is right for your soul. But I just feel like your guides are really coming in really strongly, really clearly. And they're like, please use this time to make something happen, to manifest, to set goals, make plans. They're saying like, don't let another month pass you by. Don't let another year pass you by where you have all of these dreams and these things that you want to do, but you don't do them. Do something. You don't have to do everything, but like do something. Use this time that you have on planet Earth. Use it to do something that you really want to do. And they're just saying, don't let another year pass you by without really doing what you feel you came here to do. It's a big, powerful message. When I first saw that awakening in Jupiter, it was like, oh, everything's amazing for you. But with this kind of energy, also comes responsibility, like the universe is gifting you this amazing portal, but what are you going to do with it? Do something good with it. I know you will. You wouldn't be, if you weren't going to do something good with it, you probably wouldn't be here listening to this reading. So yeah, yay. If you would like to work together this month, all of the links on how you can do that are down below. And I just wish you a beautiful, beautiful month ahead. Really hope this serves you. Lots of love. Sagittarius. Okay, let's pull your cards. Here is your tarot. And here is your oracle. So Sagittarius, you have the Queen of Wands. Love that. And you have new moon, new beginnings, intention, manifestation, and hope. Oh my gosh, she's like wearing my outfit. Okay, that wasn't planned. So this is a really, really beautiful energy, really, really beautiful. So the biggest thing that's coming through already is really around manifestation. And if you've listened to any of the previous readings, and you absolutely can just like watch this whole video from start to finish and take what resonates, leave the rest. Take all the messages for yourself if they resonate. There's been a lot coming up already around manifestation and making things happen. So I love that you have like such a specific card for that. Like new moon is just, it's all about manifestation energy. It's all about, so one thing the guides are saying that yes, it's about manifestation, but it's also about really giving yourself permission to start over. So if things haven't been really kind of working out for you or in the way that you want them to, if you have had some failures in the past, which we all have, every single human on the planet has had a hard time and done things that haven't worked out, they want you just to kind of like let that go. And they're reminding you that like every day, obviously every new moon is an opportunity to do this. This is why as magical people, we love working with the moon, because it's like every time we get a new moon, it's like a new year. We have this beautiful portal. We have this beautiful like magical time of like anything can happen. Anything can happen. It's like a brand new cycle, the start of a brand new cycle, the start of a brand new day. And they really want you to remember that like every day is an opportunity to begin again. So whatever mistakes you have made, whatever ways that you have messed up in your life up to this point, you can start again today. You can start again right now. You can start again in the morning. Maybe you've had like a bad day. This happened to me yesterday. I had a really bad day yesterday, like worse than I'd had in a long time. I was just like went into a weird place. Like I just was not myself. And then, the message I got really clearly in the afternoon was just like, go for a walk, have a shower, go to bed, and we try again tomorrow. And I just really needed, that, and that's really good advice. Go to bed and we try again tomorrow. We're not here to be perfect. We're not here to reach perfection. Even the enlightenment journey and the ascension journey is not about perfection. It's about learning and it's about growing. And so if you make a mistake and you refuse to acknowledge that you ever did anything wrong and that you never take any responsibility for it or never make amends for anybody, like any harm or hurt that you've caused, then that's not ideal, right? Like that's not ideal. But if you've made a mistake and you upset someone or you said something that you wished you didn't say or whatever, and you either apologize or you make amends or you just set an intention and say, well, I'm not going to do that again, then you're on the journey, right? Like you're on the journey. That's enlightenment. That's ascension. It's learning through these experiences that we have that are like, well, I could have handled that better. Well, you will the next time. So you've learned the lesson and you can let that go. So if you're holding any like self-blame, self-judgment, all of that kind of stuff that we're so good at holding on to, especially sensitive people like us, magical people, we're very, very good at holding on to that stuff. We're great at holding on to that stuff, but it's not helping us and it's not helping anybody else. So they really want you to just let go and forget about it. It's like they're saying it's all forgiven. Like the moment that you say, well, I'm never going to do that again, or wow, I really learned from that, or I feel really bad that happened, you can let it go. Like you've learned what you needed to learn and you can just let it go. Like it's forgiven. It's all forgiven. Like that's it. A lot of forgiveness, self-forgiveness stuff coming up for you this month. Which is so important, especially on our path to manifestation, to creating new things. Like we can't, it's difficult to manifest from a place when you are just in self-blame, self-doubt, self-judgment. If you're judging yourself for stuff, it's really hard to kind of be like, oh, I'm going to make something really amazing happen. It's difficult. It can be done, but it's difficult. It's difficult. So working on that stuff feels like it can open up more space for good things to come into your life. And it feels like you'll be more open to receiving them. A lot of the time when we hold that self-judgment, self-loathing, whatever it is that we're holding on to, even when we do manifest something really amazing and it sort of wants to come into our experience, we block it subconsciously or consciously. We don't let it in because we don't feel that, we deserve it because we did whatever in the past. So yeah, lots of messages around that for you. Queen of Wands, I feel like she's kind of like she's like your best and highest version of yourself. She's your highest self. And she's reminding you that, what would be great is if instead of using the past as a kind of way to berate yourself or convince yourself that you're not worthy, to use it as like fuel for the fire, is what she's saying. Use it as fuel for the fire. Just burn that shit. Like just burn it and let it like propel you into like where you want to go next. So we can look at the past and we can say, oh, I feel so bad that happened, or that I made that mistake, or something didn't work out for me. Or we can look at it and we can go, you know what, you can even like visualize this. You can write the things down on paper if you want to, or you can just visualize it on paper or something, like written on wood or paper. This is what, this was what the situation was. And then you see it like burning, and you see it kind of using it as kindling to help you to be the light that you're here to be. Use it as the fire that like lights you up to get you to create what it is that you're here to create, rather than that you use these things as something that's going to hold you back. We don't want you to be held back from living your best and highest life. We don't want you to be held back from living your highest destiny. So please let it go. Please let it go. Your guides are just like, you do not need to hold this. You do not need to hold any unforgiveness towards yourself. It's all clear. It's all clear. It's all gone. If you've learnt, if you've changed, if you've grown, you've done the work, and you have nothing else you don't need to hold on to any of that anymore. Wow. Okay. So that was kind of like a big reading, Sagittarius. If you, it just kind of feels like, be kind to yourself, be kind to yourself above all else. Please be kind to yourself. Okay, gorgeous Sagittarius. I would love to hear from you in the comments if this resonated. If you'd like to work with me one-on-one this month, you can do that by checking out all of the links below. And I'm sending you lots and lots of love. Okay, Scorpio. Let's see what is in the cards for you. I have your tarot card and your oracle. So your tarot is the Queen of Cups, and your oracle is Cygnus, grace, divinity, elevated consciousness, and royalty. Wow, what an amazing couple of cards. I feel like these are like the same person. There's so much like similar kind of energy in these two. Like the two people on these cards, like they look really similar as well, which is really, really interesting. Okay. So the Queen of Cups always reminds us to trust ourselves, trust yourself, trust your intuition, trust your own inner guidance. There will always be people who have an opinion or an idea about what you should be doing, how you should be living your life. And ultimately, while it can be useful to sometimes listen to different perspectives, the most powerful, wonderful thing you can do for yourself is to listen to your own intuition and trust your own guidance. I feel like your guidance is really pretty good. Like it's pretty good. And most people's intuition is pretty good. But what tends to happen with our intuition is we just doubt it. We just doubt it and we question it. And that can be the problem, really, more than the fact that like we're not getting anything, like we're not intuitive, we're not getting anything. It's like we're constantly getting guidance from the universe, our guides and our angels. And it's coming through in many, many different ways. It comes through as ideas. It comes through as just random thoughts about things. For me, it comes through a lot when I'm in the shower. Those shower ideas. For me, it's like, I'm downloading something amazing from the universe right now. It comes through song lyrics on the radio, angel number license plates, all of those things, right? In all of those different ways, we're receiving guidance. And then we have the choice of like what we do with that. And a lot of the time we can see or hear these messages and we go, like I think I'm supposed to be doing this. And I talk to people all the time when I'm doing readings. And this is one of my favorite type of readings to do, actually, where somebody comes and they say, I've got this question or whatever. And then I do the reading for them. And then they write back and they say, you know what, I like already knew that. Everything that you said is like everything that I've been getting for myself. And I love doing those readings. At first I was like, oh, what a waste of everyone's time that we did this reading. But sometimes you just need that confirmation because, we don't always trust our guidance. And even those of us who have been doing the intuitive work for a really long time. I've been reading professionally for over 10 years now. But there are still times when I doubt my own guidance. It's just how we do it. We just get into our heads and we start questioning everything. So yeah, like trust what you're getting. Trust what you're getting. And I always say to people, because people sometimes ask this question of like, well, how do I know if it's my intuition or if it's just like my thoughts? And there's a lot of different ways that you can tell, but ultimately for me, my intuition, my guidance is always very, very loving, and it's very, very straight to the point. So it doesn't like mince words. Whereas my own thoughts tend to be a little bit, here and there and like all over the place a bit, like thinking about this, thinking about that. They're not, my own thoughts aren't like clear sentences usually, but when guidance comes through in that way for me, it comes through in like clear sentences or a word or a phrase, like very clearly, very kind of directly, much more than like my own thoughts are kind of, bubbling around in there. So that's one way, but your guidance is always going to be loving. So if you're getting anything that's like feels fearful, or it's creating anxiety for you, or it's making you worried about anything, I always say to people it's probably not your intuition or your guidance. It's probably your anxiety. It's probably some fear. It's probably just you're trying to like, you're getting in your head about it. So that's kind of a very simplified version of that. So work with that this month and see how that feels. You've got this incredible Cygnus card, grace, divinity, elevated consciousness, royalty. It's really a very nice energy. It's a very nice energy. And so your guides are basically saying that, you're much more elevated and aligned than you think you are. You're much more elevated. Your soul is actually much more elevated than you think it is. You are much more, trying to think of the word, you're like more high vibrational than you realize, basically. You're walking around the world thinking like, I'm just a person, blah, blah, blah. You're not. You're not just a person. Nobody's just a person. We're all like these incredible spiritual beings just having a human experience. And we are human, and we are like messing things up sometimes and whatever, but ultimately we are like very, very high vibrational beings, and you definitely are. I feel like that's really important for you to know, and really important for you to remember just how divine you are. To take some time this month to think about your own divinity and how we're, ultimately none of us are separate from each other. None of us are separate from nature. None of us are separate from the divine. We're all a part of it. We're all a part of this incredible experience that we're having here on this planet. So think about that and remember that. Remember your own divinity and really see yourself as divine. And that's going to help you with your intuition too. Because the more you tap into that energy of like, oh wow, yeah, I'm actually, we're all divine. So if you're divine and you're trying to receive divine guidance, suddenly that makes it a lot easier to receive, because it's like, it's within you. And anything else that doesn't feel divine is not your guidance. Okay, Scorpio, that was like a really, really interesting message. That was really beautiful. I hope that serves you, and I hope that it's helped you to see your own divinity and to, trust your own guidance a little bit more as you move into and through this month ahead. Please do let me know in the comments if it resonated. I would love to hear from you. And if you would like to work together this month, you can click the links below and find out more about how to do that. And I'm sending you lots and lots of love. Okay, Libra, let's see what the cards have for you. Your tarot card is the Three of Cups, and you will not believe what oracle card you have. You have Libra. Diplomacy, balance, harmony, and compromise. So there's like a really cool thing that I kind of did with this deck. So obviously in this deck we have the planets, and we also have all of the star signs, and then we have some of the star systems as well. And the idea here, when you are that sign and you pull that sign, it's like an extra it's an extra reading, right? Like it's an extra message, and it is it can mean a lot of different things, but what I'm getting for you right now is this really beautiful message of like, you're on the right path. You know, this is like alignment. This is what alignment looks and feels like. I mean, it can look and feel like lots of things, but when you are pulling a card, and you know, it's 1 in 36 chance we're going to pull Libra. At least I think that's how stats work. I know that stats are like a whole thing. Anyway, it's like, you know, the chance is there, but it's pretty low that we're going to pull that card for you. None of the other cards so far none of the other signs so far have had their own card. But this is alignment. You know, when you are that sign and you pull that sign, it's a sign that there's some alignment here. You know, there's some alignment going on in your life. And for you right now, it's like things are more aligned than you realize, and you are on the right path. You are on the right path. This is one of the questions I get so often when I work with clients. Am I on the right path? We're also worried that we're missing something, that we're not doing what we're here to do, that we're not experiencing something or creating something, or, you know, we're just not doing it right. But the message for you right now very clearly is like, what you're doing is exactly what you need to be doing. And they're saying there is like a higher version of that you can go to, but it's not about changing the path. It's about going up to a higher expression and experience of that path. So I hope that kind of makes sense, because it's a little bit like difficult to explain, but it's not about you having to change anything. You just go to a higher level. You just like raise the vibe on whatever you're doing. I'm trying to think of like an example to give you. You know, maybe I'll use an example from my life. Maybe, you know, you've self-published a novel, and that's great. You know, you're on the right path. You're supposed to be writing novels. This is fantastic. But maybe your next novel, you try to get, you know, more, you try to get an agent, you try to get a big publisher on board, you try to kind of go to the next level. That's like a very kind of basic way to explain it, because it's not really like that having a traditional publisher would be better or higher, but it's kind of like you are putting yourself into a higher place. You know, it's like getting a promotion at work. You're still doing like the same kind of job, but you're at a different level, you know? I hope that makes sense. But that feels exciting. So if you're thinking about applying for a promotion or for, you know, like a different job, like you want to still work in the same industry, but we want to do more, you want to do something slightly different, then absolutely. If you're listening to this and you're like, Vix, I actually don't feel like I'm on the right path at all, I want to change everything in my life, then that's the path. Then that's the path. You know, if you're like, because I think sometimes we think about when someone says, oh, you're on the right path, it's like, oh, well, I have to keep doing this, I can't change anything. And it's like, that's not what it's about. Sometimes being on the right path has less to do what's happening in the material world and more to do what's happening within you, right? So to be on the right path, maybe you're in a job, but you've been having ideas about how you want to shift careers, you want to do something differently, but you haven't done it yet. But that's the path. You know, you're on the path to making those changes. You're on the path to making something different happen in your life. It's kind of a weird message, because it's like, it's not saying that you don't need to make changes, but it's also saying like that, you know, the changes that you make will be the right things, you know, like they will be the right things for you. Don't question everything so much. That's something that's really coming through as well, that there's this kind of energy around questioning things and like worrying about things a little bit too much, about how things are going to turn out. Am I going to make the wrong decision? And that's another thing that people come to me a lot with, the question of like, you know, should I choose this or should I choose that? And so often, like we see it in readings, we can do that kind of reading. We can look at, well, what's potentially likely if you do this? What's the potential if you do that? But ultimately, you can't make a wrong decision, really. As long as your decision is made from a place of like love, as long as you are making your decisions from a place of this feels like what I want to do right now, you can't do it wrong. Because even if, you know, you do something and it doesn't work out and then you end up doing something else instead, then that was like the journey that you had to go on, you know? So yeah, it's all very kind of like cryptic for you, Libra. It's a little bit cryptic. It's like, oh, you're on the right path. Everything's aligned, but you still might need to change some things. But don't change, like, you know, only change the things that really feel in alignment you want to change. But there is just, I feel like your guides are just like, it's like they're saying, Vix is trying to explain the energy that we're showing her, but really the message here is just, you're on the right path. The ideas that you've been getting, the guidance that you've been getting, just follow it, follow through. Don't question the things that you feel are like what you're supposed to do. Trust yourself, trust your journey. Remember that you can't make a wrong decision, and just trust yourself. And look for signs is another thing that they're saying. Really, really look for signs. Belly mentioned the Three of Cups, but I feel like the Three of Cups, I always see that as like support. So find some support. If you're struggling with anything in your life, find some support. Find a group, find a community. If you already have a group and a community, connect with your group and community, reach out for support, ask questions when you need to. Make sure that you're not traveling this journey on your own. You know, make sure you have people in your life where you can talk about all this woo-woo stuff, where you can be like, what the heck was Vix talking about in that reading? Because, you know, it's like, that's what we need. We need to have people that can kind of like help us figure it all out. So that's really, really important for you as well. Okay, Libra, I hope that resonated. I'd love to hear in the comments from you about that reading. I'd love to hear. Hopefully it made sense. Hopefully you picked up what I was putting down. Okay, if you would like to grab a reading with me this month, all of the links are below on how you can do that, and I'm sending you lots and lots of love. Okay, Virgo, your message for February. Let's have a look. Okay, your tarot is the Ace of Swords, and your oracle is Mintaka, nostalgia, belonging, and community. So it's a really interesting kind of mix of energy there, because I always see Mintaka as being such a watery kind of energy, such a watery planet and a watery intuitive energy. But you've also got the Ace of Swords there. So part of the myths and legends around Mintaka is that it was this place in the universe. It was a star system where many high vibrational souls were living, and something happened to the planet, which meant that everybody had to leave and go and incarnate in other places, and that there is a sort of sense of homesickness and longing that anyone who kind of identifies as Mintakan has, because they can never go home again. And it's really sad. It's really, really sad. And it's also sad when we think about what we're doing to our planet right now. And are we just creating something like that here? Hopefully not. Hopefully there's enough of us who are trying to make some changes that we will be able to shift some of this. But there's also this energy of the Ace of Swords that really invites you to take back your power this month. So whether you have been feeling like, I don't know, there's a little bit of like a victimhood kind of energy coming through. And I'm not saying that to be like, oh, stop playing the victim, because we all get into that energy at times. We all get into that energy at times. And sometimes it's rightly so. Sometimes we've experienced something at the hands of somebody else or some corporation or whatever that has been completely unjust. And we are absolutely allowed to feel our feelings about that, and we're absolutely allowed to be upset about that. But what we need to be mindful of is when we are feeling our feelings about this kind of stuff, when somebody has taken away our power, whether it's a corporation or somebody that we know or somebody at work or, you know, an acquaintance or somebody that we love or have loved, when someone takes away our power, we can either go into a place of, woe is me, they took away my power, now I have no power left, or we can try to find it again. And we can try to call it back to us, and we can look at the places where we do have power. Because there are lots of places where we don't have power. Recently here in Australia and Victoria, our government just made a decision that I was very angry and upset about, but I don't have the power to change that. I wish I did, but I don't. And so there's a feeling of like powerlessness that goes along with that. But, you know, my guides were reminding me of like, maybe you can't change this decision, but there's a lot of good you can do. You know, there's still a lot that you can do. There's still a lot of ways that you can be in your power, and that you can, you can make change in this world in really positive ways. And it may not be that that's the thing that you can change, but look for what you can change. So that's a really powerful message coming through for you this month around, what's the serenity prayer? I don't know it off by heart, but, you know, it's grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change and change what I can. That's like the worst version of that prayer ever. But, you know, that's the gist, right? It's like to look at where you can make change and where you can be in your power. And in all of the places where you can be in your power, you take it and you stand in your power. And in the places where you don't have power, then, you know, maybe you get angry about it. Maybe you have a rant and a rave, and you do whatever needs to do. Maybe also, you know, sometimes there are ways that we can make change even when we feel like we can't. So look for that. That just feels like a really, really important message for you this month, is about finding your power where you can find it. I think sometimes we make excuses and we say, well, you know, I don't have the power to do anything ever, anywhere. And it's not true. It's not true. And then sometimes we think, oh, well, I could post on Instagram and then it didn't get any likes or no one saw it. So, you know, I don't have any power there either. And we can tell ourselves all these stories about how we don't have power in all these different places. But what would really be cool is if we started to really look at where we do have power and where we can have more power, where we can take more power back. That's it. That's your message. Take back your power. Take back your power. You are not powerless. You are so, so powerful. You're a powerful, powerful being of light in this world. So we want to see you shine in all the places where you can. Okay, Virgos, I really hope that resonated with you. I hope you're going to just have a beautiful month of just like fully rocking it. If you would like to get a reading with me this month, check the links below, and I'm sending you lots and lots of love. Okay, Leo, let's see what your cards are gonna say. So we have our tarot and our oracle. Okay, so your tarot is the Knight of Cups, That's a beautiful card. And then you have Sagittarius, adventure, independence, flexibility, and free-spiritedness. So there's a journey. This month is potentially going to bring a little bit of a journey for you. We have that Knight of Cups and the Sagittarius, adventures, journeys. So I want to talk about the Knight of Cups, and I want to talk about how important it is for you, Leo, to be moving forward, but moving forward from the heart space and making sure that you are taking action that is really in alignment with your heart. And I also feel like there's some messages coming through about your manifestation and your spell work, or, you know, whatever that looks like for you. Some people manifest, some people use spell work, some people set goals. It's all, you know, we're all kind of doing the same thing. It's really important that whatever you're doing, whatever intentions you're setting for what you want to create in your life, that it's coming from the heart space and not from what you've seen on social media, what you've seen on TV, what you think you're supposed to want, what somebody else in your family is kind of pushing you towards, but that it's really coming from the heart space. What do you really want? Like, what is your heart telling you? And I wrote about this in my book, Manifest Your Dreams, little promo there for Manifest Your Dreams, around how the best manifesting that we can possibly do is heart-centered manifesting, and really thinking about our heart's true desires that are not connected to what we saw on socials, what we saw on TV, what we think we're supposed to do, what everybody else is doing, what our parents want, you know, like all of the things that we so subconsciously have within us. And I've done this so many times where I've tried to manifest things, or sometimes I have manifested things, and then I was like, oh, okay, like this hasn't made me happy. You know, this hasn't changed anything for me. Like, I'm not happier. I don't feel like that this was anything that you know, it doesn't feel like there's any point to even manifesting this, you know, because I'm not feeling it. So come back to the heart and really think about, like, what do you really want? You know, what do you really want? What is the journey that you want to go on in your life, in your spirituality? What experiences do you want to have? I feel like that's really important for some of you, just to look at what you're asking for, look at what you're manifesting, look at what you're creating, and just take a step back and just kind of ask yourself, is this really in alignment with my heart? Or do I need to make some changes here? Do I need to make some tweaks and some little kind of changes? It's Knight of Cups is just like moving forward from your heart. I always see it like that. Just like, it's got to be, you're moving forward, but it's got to be from the heart, and it's got to be for the right reasons. Whatever those are for you, right? We all have different reasons for what we want to manifest, but make sure you know what your reasons are, and make sure they're really connected with the heart. And there's also some stuff coming through as well around manifesting not just for yourself, but for others, and manifesting things that will positively impact you, but also all the people around you, and also maybe even the collective as well. You know, how can your manifestations and your goals and dreams and all of the things that you want to achieve and create in the world support other people? Because that's really magical when we can start kind of manifesting and doing our spell work from that place. So Sagittarius, let's have another look at that. Adventure, independence, flexibility, and free-spiritedness. So I feel like that free-spiritedness energy is like really really important. I just keep feeling like there's something that you're doing, there's something you've decided, or there's something that somebody else is telling you or convincing you of, that you're kind of like not really fully living your dream, but that you're kind of still taking on a little bit of programming here and there from other people, other places. One tip that's really great is take time off social media, because we are so programmed from social media, whether we think we are or not. we open up this app and we just scroll and we look at what thousands of other people are doing, what they're wearing, how they're living their lives. And then we close the app and we go and sit down to do some manifesting. And we're like, oh yeah, I really want this thing. And we haven't even, it's like, do we though? Do we really want that thing? Or is it just because we saw it on Instagram? It's a totally subconscious thing. It's unconscious. It's not like we're looking at Instagram and then we're going, oh, I really want that thing that I saw on Instagram. It just kind of like, it sows these seeds within us. And then we think that we want a certain life, or we think that we want, a certain lifestyle, or material things, or like whatever. That's another thing they're saying as well, is like manifesting material things has its time and place, but it's not really the aim of the game. What you really want to be manifesting is things like freedom. It's things like freedom. You want to manifest freedom. You want to feel more free in your life. You want to feel more love in your life. You want to have a deeper experience of love. All of these things that we can be calling into our experience can have such a bigger impact on us than, I want a new pair of shoes. And there's a time and a place to manifest a new pair of shoes. Sometimes that's what we need. We don't have shoes and we need them. So sometimes that's, what we need to do. We have to put the call out to the universe to help us get those shoes. But if you've already got a pair of shoes, then, do you have freedom? Do you have love? Do you want deeper friendships? All of these things. So yeah, have a think about that. And do some clearing work on your energy, and start to kind of notice, why do I want this? That's one question I always ask when I do manifesting, is I sit down and I go, well, I really want this thing. And then I ask myself, why? Why do I want that? What do I think it's going to do for me? How do I think it's going to change my life? How is it going to be better? So have a think about that. Let me know in the comments if this resonated. I am sending you so much love. And if you'd like to work with me this month, the link is below on how you can do that. Lots of love. Okay, Cancerians. Let's see what is occurring. We have our tarot, we have our oracle. Your tarot is the 10 of crystals. I like to see that. And then you have the Procyon card, personal development, soul growth, breath work, and light codes. And you know what? When I saw that 10 of crystals, like that's such a, that card just kind of like, I hope you can see that, like it's focused on the card. To me, they look like light codes. They definitely look like light codes to me. The 10 of crystals and Procyon. Definitely some really kind of like high vibe energies here. They're saying that you have come to the completion of a cycle, that this was like quite a long cycle for you. I don't know whether it's kind of like the last few years, or how long this cycle has been for you, but there's definitely a feeling of like things are wrapping up, like old stories are kind of ending, whether that is things in your life, maybe you're moving house, changing jobs, changing partners, like all sorts of things may be happening. Things are kind of ending, things are wrapping up, but they're saying it can also be like internal shifts and changes. And they're saying like you've kind of gone through a really, really big initiation in the last little while, and that this is this has been, the stuff that you've been through has been like a real soul initiation, and you should celebrate yourself. You should celebrate yourself for everything that you have achieved, everything that you have been through, everything that you have gone through, and come out the other side of wiser and just more true to who you are. And it just feels like you've been on this really beautiful, kind of intense but beautiful, powerful journey. Maybe that doesn't resonate. Maybe it's been really hard and you're like, it was not beautiful. But you've been on this journey, but now you're coming to the end of it. and you're about to step into a brand new cycle, that you're about to kind of go into something really new and something really, really, it may not be like different. Like I want to say it's different, it's exciting, it's brand new, but it's, it's more just like, you know, the energy of like, you've just finished high school and it's like your whole life is ahead of you, you know, first day of the rest of your life kind of energy. And then it's like, oh, cool, it's summer break. And then you go to university. So it's like, okay, we're still going back to school, but this time it's like a different, you know, we're at a higher level, we're learning different things. It's more about what you want to do, less about what, you know, you have to do, all of those kinds of things. So they really want you to celebrate and acknowledge how far you've come and where everything that you've been through and everything that you've learned and how like strong and amazing you are for going through everything that you went through. And I think this is, you know, so often we forget to do this. We don't honor ourselves as much as we should. But they want you to see yourself as like really this amazing like spiritual being that has like, you know, you've reached, you know, you've completed an initiation, basically. You've completed an initiation and now you're going to the next level. There's a feeling here too, I really feel like I have to say this, that it feels like things are going to be easier for you in this next cycle. It feels like you've been through some really hard stuff. I mean, we all go through hard stuff in life, but there are cycles, there are times when there are sometimes times when things feel really tough and then like something big really happens and it's like, okay, I didn't think, I thought that was tough, but actually, you know, that was kind of easy. Like that was kind of like an easier time. But I do feel like there's more ease coming in this next cycle. This like 10 energy just kind of feels like this culmination of like, you're wrapping this up, you have completed these tasks. It's like, you know, we come in with the soul contract and we've got all the lists of things that we're supposed to do or that we want to do in this life. And it's like, you've had this whole list and it's like you've ticked off so many things. You've ticked off so many things on that list and they're like, okay, so that list is finished. We've completed that. You've got to this part in your journey. Well done. The angels have put a stamp on it. They've wrapped it up in a nice like paper package and they're like, okay, that's done. You know, they put it in the storeroom. I don't know what they do with it. And then, you know, then what? Well, then you go into a new cycle. I feel like for many of you, you're going into a new cycle where so many of the things on your soul contract have been completed and ticked off. And now you're kind of going into this new cycle of choice, where you actually get to choose more of what you experience and what you get to do in this lifetime. And that feels really, really exciting. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about that for you. It's like, now you get to choose what experiences you want to have. And there may still be some things that you're working on, some things that, you know, would be that your higher self is like, oh, we can put this in, we could do this. And, you know, there's other things that you may have to experience as part of the life journey. But it just feels like there's going to be so much more choice and it's going to be so much easier. I'm really getting that for you. Personal development, soul growth. I feel like the Procyon card with the personal development, soul growth, keywords there are like, that's what you've achieved. That's what you've been doing. You've been working on yourself. Your soul has been growing and expanding. You have just kind of been, doing all of this work. And it's like, great, you've done it. Congratulations. Congratulations. Well done. You got to the end of that particular cycle and that particular journey that you were here to experience. It feels really big. It feels really, really exciting. And the next chapter feels really, really good and like easier. It feels easier. So enjoy it. If that resonated, I would love to hear in the comments from you. Absolutely love to have a chat in the comments. If you would like to work with me this month and get a one-on-one reading, all of the links are below on how you can do that. And I'm sending you lots of love. Okay, Gemini. your tarot card and your oracle. So your tarot card is Justice, and your oracle is Lyra, confidence, purpose, potential, and fulfillment. So that's nice. That's a nice message. That's a really nice message for you, my beautiful Geminis. Lyra and Justice. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. So there's a lot coming up here about purpose, your sense of purpose in this life, making sure that you are, really living your purpose. And there's some stuff coming through around kind of making that your goal or your aim for this month, to think about your purpose work, and to ask yourself some questions around, do you feel like you're living your purpose? Do you feel like you are, do you feel like you're doing that? Do you feel like there's some places where you're not living your purpose? And I'm like, already like, wow, this feels like a little bit of tough love, because I'm a Gemini as well. These messages are always for me too. And the things that I'm thinking of in my own life, to give you an example, when that message came through around like where you're not living in your purpose, is especially related to the places in my life where I am like wasting time and energy. So when I'm scrolling on Instagram, am I living my purpose? When I am just like faffing around, like, not even really doing anything, like faffing around on the internet, you go into like internet holes and you search for one thing, and then, an hour later you're like, I don't even know how I got to this point. Some like obscure celebrity from like the 1920s or something, and you're just like, how did I get here? Like, is that my purpose? Am I living my purpose when I'm doing that? Here's another one. Am I living my purpose when I'm complaining about people or about myself? Am I living my purpose when I'm talking shit about myself? So these are the things that are coming up for me as I'm thinking about this, because we often think about purpose as like, oh, well, you have a life purpose and you've got to live your purpose, and your purpose is, Vix's purpose is she's a tarot reader and she teaches yoga, and that's her purpose. But that's, that's not really, that's just the way that it's just the tool. It's just the way that I am like manifesting my purpose. It's just the way that I'm working my purpose at this time, right? It's not the only way I could do what I'm here to do. There's lots of different things. Like, your job isn't your purpose. Your purpose is what's behind that. So, for example, I really feel like my purpose is about, I'm trying to think of like how to put it into words. I had like a really good, I did this really well the other day where I put my purpose into words. It's basically, it's to support people in living their highest destiny, to support people in living their best and highest life. That's what I'm here to do. That's it. And there's so many different ways I can do that. I can do that through these readings. I can do that through my personal work. I can do that through the author mentoring that I'm doing and helping people to write their books and get their books out into the world. I can do that through teaching yoga, because that helps people to really tap into, their own divinity, like all of these different ways that you can live your purpose, right? And then you can start asking questions around, like, say, maybe your purpose is the same, or maybe your purpose is just to like shine really bright or inspire other people or whatever it is. And then you can ask yourself all of these questions about different things that you're doing. Am I inspiring people by scrolling on Instagram and getting like, and having like the nervous system response of like, oh my gosh, I want to get off Instagram, but I can't. I'm like trapped here now. Like, is that serving your purpose? Yeah, that's, again, these are just examples from my life. I know it's probably not my purpose to scroll Instagram. Maybe you use Instagram in a different way. Is it my purpose to share my thoughts on Instagram that could be really helpful for people? Yes. Yes, I can share on Instagram. That's a great way to live your purpose, is to share inspiring stuff on Instagram, right? That's a great way to do it. But when you get caught up in like comment wars with people who are never going to change their mind about their views and opinions, that's not your purpose work. So yeah, so think about that. Think about that this month around, are you living your purpose in each moment? Not just like this big overarching purpose of like, well, I'm here to be a healer, I'm here to be a doctor, I'm here to be whatever. How are you living your purpose in each day, in each moment? And I feel like we can get closer to our purpose when we start to notice when we're not living in our purpose. So, you know, even those moments, even if you're someone that's like, Vix, I have no idea what my purpose is. I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing on this planet. That's totally fine. Most people don't, even though I feel like I've kind of figured mine out. It's still, you know, it's still a work in progress. There's still other questions I have about what I'm supposed to be doing. But what we can do is we can start to see when we're definitely not in our purpose. And the more we kind of like move those things out of the way, then we can start to look at what's left and we can go, oh, okay, this does feel like my purpose. Okay, I love that. I feel like that justice, the sword, is like clearing away what is not in our purpose. And the scales too, you know, it's like what's tipping the scale? What's tipping the scale in the direction that we don't want it to be going in, and like really starting to let go of some of that stuff. I loved that message. I felt like that was so good. I really, really needed that. I hope that you enjoyed it too. I hope it really inspired me. It made me feel like, oh yeah, okay, I'm going to really start thinking about this in that way. I've never thought about purpose in that way. And that's what I love about these readings, is they're very intuitive, and I'm just downloading and channeling and passing stuff on, and I have no idea what I'm going to say until I say it. So it's really exciting when something just hits. So I hope it hit you too in a really good way. If you would like to work together this month, the links are below. Comment below and let me know if this resonated too. And yeah, look forward to working with you or seeing you somewhere very soon, and sending you lots and lots of love. Okay, Taurus. Let's see what is in the cards for you. We have your tarot and your oracle. So your tarot is the 7 of Cups, and your oracle, I know you're not really supposed to have like favorite cards when you create an oracle deck, but I do have a couple of favorites, and this is one of them. Arcturus, strong will, pioneer, forward thinking, change making. So that's a pretty snazzy snazzy pair of cards. I don't know why I said snazzy. I don't think I've said anything snazzy ever before. But I love this. And this is a huge reminder to you, big message to you, that you have the power to make change. You have the power to change your life. You have the power to change your life. I'm going to say it again. You have the power to change your life. Nobody else can change your life for you. Nobody else can make things happen for you. But you. Other people can help you, definitely. But ultimately, it's about you. You know, I've just started doing author mentoring, and I'm in love with it. I absolutely love helping authors and creatives to get on their path and make something amazing happen. My job in those situations is to help you make it happen, but I can't write the book for you, right? Like, I can't create the deck for you. You have to go and do that. But like, I'm here as your cheerleader to help you to, you know, check in with you and make sure that you're doing the work and all of that stuff. But ultimately, like, it's your job to make that happen, right? But this is just like, you have the power to change your life. Whatever is happening in your life that you're not happy with, that isn't working for you, you can make changes. You can make changes. And yes, there's always things in life that are out of our control. There's always things in life that are going to be out of our control. And I am never going to be somebody that preaches this idea of anything you think about you can have. You know, like, I don't know, like I kind of feel like, yes, that's true to a point, but you know, we're still human and we still have to live in a world where there are things that are happening that are out of our control. And as much as there are those things that are happening that are out of our control, there is a lot in our control. There is so much more within our control than we realize. We can change our thoughts, we can change our beliefs, we can change our aura. And when we shift and change things in our aura, we vibrate and project completely different energy. We can change the way that we treat people. We can change the way that we take action and make things happen in our lives. And I've seen this happen in my own life in so many ways. You know, like I was not the same person 10 years ago that I am now. I've done so much work on myself and I have made so many changes in my life. And I talk about a bunch of these in my Manifest Your Dreams book. I talk about how I, you know, kind of went from, there was a time in my life where like I was sleeping on friends' floors and couches, like literally the floor, you know, like I remember one night I slept on like a linoleum floor, which was like not that comfortable. There was a time when I had, no money, you know, like the whole thing. And at the same time, I don't want to ever kind of project this idea of like, woe is me, I was so poor and blah, blah, blah. I went through challenging times, but I also am very aware of like how much privilege I've also had in my life. But I have changed a lot of things. I've changed a lot of things in my life. And, you know, the financial situation was just one of those things, but, ultimately, you know, I changed a lot of different things to kind of get to this point of like running my own successful business and being here talking to you today on a Tuesday afternoon when, you know, I would have normally been at work. Not that I'm not at work because this is my work, but you know, like you can change your life. You can change your life. It can take time. It can take time. And there are things that you may not be able to change, but you can change a lot of things. And I really just feel like that's the biggest, you know, that's the biggest message for you right now. And I feel like there's so many other things I could say, but, you know, one of the keywords on here is strong will. And we know that Taurus has a strong will. So use your will. Use your will to change things. And we often talk about Taurus as being like a stubborn sign. And I think that's kind of like just one kind of aspect of that energy. Stubbornness is also strength. It's also a strong will. It's not taking no for an answer. It's saying that you know, I am going to change this. I can change this. It's using that energy to make the changes that you want to change, that you want to make in your life. You have choices and you can make changes. And I feel like if I keep talking, I'm just going to keep saying those same things over and over again. You have the power to change your life. That's your message. That's your message. So change it for the better. Okay, Taurus. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are about that reading. I feel like that was just like a couple of words over and over again, but important words, really, really important words. Let me know in the comments if that resonated. I would love to hear from you. If you'd like to work together this month, the link is below on how we can do that. And I'm sending you lots and lots of love. Okay, Aries, lucky last this month. Let's see what the cards have for you. Okay, your tarot is the Page of Swords, and your oracle is the Pleiades. Healing, compassion, understanding, and peace. I love that card so much. I love Pleiadian energy so much. Okay. So with the Page of Swords, I always see Page of Swords as very much about clearing away, cutting away the things that don't serve you. I feel like doing some cord cutting would be fantastic this month. I do have a cord cutting kit That's fun to say. I do have a cord cutting kit over on my shop. It's $15. I think it's $15. And you get a meditation and a workbook to work with. And the reason I made the workbook for that is because there's so much more to cord cutting than just doing a meditation and visualizing it's gone. You know, there's a lot, there can be a lot going on with cord cutting. I feel like just some cord cutting would be good just to kind of like, there's like, it feels like there's some old cords, like some very old cords, sort of like, this is like a weird way that they're showing me, but it's sort of like when you have the umbilical cord and you know, they cut the umbilical cord and then it can like, sometimes it stays, you know, it stays in the baby for a little while and then it like falls off. And it's like that kind of like, that's how they're showing me it. Like it's this old sort of cord, you know, like it's just old stuff. Like it's not even really being used as a cord anymore. It's just kind of like, it's dried up, it's dried out, it's doesn't need to be there. But if you could cut and clear some of those, that would be good. That feels like it would just give you some space and a little bit, like you just feel a bit clearer. And so yeah, there's lots of ways you can do that. Do the cord cutting. You can visualize it as being gone, affirm it as being gone. Listen to a meditation, buy my kit. You know, there's a whole bunch of different ways to do that. One way I really like to do it too is to get a crystal. This one's not super ideal because it's not like a point. I have like a really nice dagger, a selenite dagger that I love using for this. But get yourself into a meditative state, center your energy, and you set the intention and you say, I'm going to cut, clear, heal and release all negative cords of attachment in all directions of space and time that are no longer serving me. And then you get your crystal or your dagger and you go around your body and you just kind of, and as you do it, you start to notice like, oh, something's there, you know, and you'd be like, why do I want to keep going over this part? You just kind of do it. And it's good if you have like a pointed, like a long crystal, then you could do, you know, you do your back, and there's places that you can't like totally reach, but you know, you do your best and you ask the angels to help you with it as well, and you just kind of go around and you clear energy in that way. It's really easy. It can take a couple of minutes and you'll feel better. You will feel better. So clearing, definitely, but also there's also a message of healing here. And I think the Palladians, you know, they're bringing through this really beautiful healing energy, but they're like, the Palladians are now saying like, what Vix has shared is really great, but you can also just ask us and we'll do it. They're like, you can just ask us, we'll sort that out for you, don't worry about it. But they're saying as well though that there is a lot to be said for not just calling on them, asking it to be done, and then it's done. What's very important as well is that we notice, and we start to notice what the cords are and what they're attached to, and then when we notice that, we won't create them so much again, because the Palladians aren't here to just kind of do our energy work for us and we take no responsibility for anything, you know, like they want to support us on our journey and they want to make things easier for us, but ultimately, you know, there are times when it would be good if we just didn't get the cords in the first place. Because, you know, we're probably carrying them around for months, maybe years before we're like, oh yeah, I should do a cord cutting. So yeah, I feel like the Palladians are really like coming through and they're kind of like just like laughing about all this cord cutting stuff. And they're like, oh, humans take this cord cutting stuff so seriously. You know, you got to do all these different like rituals and stuff. And they're like, no, it does work. Like it does work. It's great. But they're also saying as well, like, don't be afraid of your cords. Like, I think sometimes we do get into like a weird we do get into like a weird energy where we start to kind of fear that stuff. We start to worry, like, oh, am I going to create a cord? Like, oh, what about all my cords? And it's like getting into fear about it is just like so unnecessary, you know? And the same with like picking up negative energy. They're just saying like, don't get into fear about it. It just happens. Like it happens to everybody, even people who are like amazing at energy protection. You still pick stuff up and it's just what happens. So they're just kind of reminding us to do a ritual every day to clear your energy, protect your energy, ground your energy, and do those three things every day just to kind of keep on top of things. And they're saying like call them in like once a week, once a month, whenever you remember, whenever you think about it, and they will come and they can do they're saying they will come and they will do like a whole like energy clearing on you like anytime you want. So you don't even have to go to your Reiki healer now, although you should go to your Reiki healer because we need to support people who are working in spiritual industry. But you know, it's like another thing. It's like another layer, another level of something we can do. And they're saying that if the Palladian energy as well doesn't really resonate with you, you can ask the angels to do it. You can call in the archangels or any beings that you feel comfortable with to just come in and like do some healing on you. And then, you know, as they're doing it, ask them if there's any wisdom or guidance around, you know, what you need to do to keep your energy clear as well. I love that. I love that message. I love how the Palladians just came in like so clearly with all those messages about healing for you. Okay, gorgeous Aries, I would love to know what you thought about this reading. If it resonated with you, please let me know in the comments. If you would like to work together this month, then you can find out how to do that in the links below. And I'm just sending you lots and lots of love.